Spomenuo bi samo nekoliko. Mogli smo čuti zanimljive podatke da sve više za zlata dolazi od uređaja koji se recikliraju. Očekuje se da bi gotovo polovina takvog zlata mogla doći iz reciklaže za 10 godina, ako vidimo da za nekih 15 godina će biti neki vrhunac onoga što se još treba iskopati. Također, središnje banke snažno kupuju zlato, rast je od čak 20%, što je vrlo zanimljiv podatak. Ono što je mene iznenadio podatak je za Njemačku da 13% populacije kupuje zlato, a da generacija Z kupuje zlato, što je vrlo interesantno. Sve to je odličan uvod u naš današnji prvi panel, koji smo nazvali Zlato kao investicija. Što očekivati sljedeće? Zamolio bi sada Marina Ivića iz Centra Zlata da pozove sudionike panela i preuzme mikrofon. Marina, izvoli.
So let's switch back to English for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our panel discussion, Gold as an Investment and What to Expect Next. We are honored to have with us three distinguished experts who will share their insights on the future of gold as an investment. So first we have Mr. Jörg Endres, Managing Director of Argor Heraeus Germany, part of one of the world's leading precious metals refineries. Next, we welcome Mr. Yannick Turner, Vienna Branch Manager at Heimerlein-Meule, Germany's oldest precious metals refinery. And finally, from Croatia, we have Mr. Saša Ivanović, founder and CEO of Centar Zlata, a leading gold investment company in Croatia. Okay, so gentlemen, thank you for joining us, and let's dive into discussion. Mr. Jörg, we can start with you. Your presentation was sort of an introduction to this panel discussion, and you mentioned a lot of topics we'll also be talking about here. So we've seen a significant surge of gold price in the last 12 months. Do you personally believe that was an exceptional year that is unlikely to repeat soon, or are we perhaps witnessing a new normal for gold of sustained high yields for investors?
So in terms of if you take gold as an investment, I think you can always buy gold as an investment, go to sleep for 5 years or 10 years, and then when you wake up, you will be happy. Yeah? So when you take gold now, if you buy gold now, and if you watch it every day, so there could also be in terms of kind of say like, hey, in 2 months you might be frustrated that it has gone down a little bit. Yeah, but did we see in the last 12 months something different? Yes, I think it has been driven by the whole uncertainty, as I mentioned in my presentation. And now I think it's up to someone to say like, hey, do I buy gold now or do I buy gold in 3 months? And I think if you believe that all those uncertainties in my presentation, which I was showing, are going to be solved in 3 months, I think you should buy gold in 3 months. Yeah? And then when you see also the long-term trend from 2005 or 2000 to now, if you stick a line in between, it's not, I mean, it's probably a little bit overvalued, but it's not super expensive on the gold side. So I think we will, in those uncertain times with inflation coming, we will have a good potential that we will see this as a new normal. Yeah, but obviously there could be price dips depending on how the world economy goes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Yannick, the sharp increase in gold prices has led to substantial returns for investors. Have you observed at Heimerlein-Meule a rise in investors selling gold to capitalize on these gains, or are they still mostly holding on to their gold in anticipation of further price growth? So are they mostly selling or buying at the moment?
Both happens at the same time, which is quite unique. We are facing a lot of investors selling their gold as they have bought it several years ago with a very low price, so now they're happy with the 90 euros. There are also investors waiting until we have the 3 digits price in gold, so that could also happen, but you never know what happens. And that's the nice thing about this branch. It's unpredictable. We have uncertainties, we have counteracting effects in the industry, and this all leads us to the current price. So I remember myself sitting here in this position last year, and the question was where the gold price will be in 1 year, when will we hit the $3,000? And I said, it's not a question of if it happens, it will happen. The question is when it happens, and then it happens recently, and we experience also in Germany, in Austria, investors who now selling their gold, but we also see them investing. And in Croatia, especially, we have lots of first-time buyers. In Austria and Germany, gold is long established in investors' portfolios, and we recommend to have at least 10% in gold in their portfolio. And this amount is increasing, so it attracts all parts of the society. And to conclude, we see both. We see heavy demand for gold bars, but we also see investors selling their gold to be liquid.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
Because I totally agree. And also in Germany, we get, I think, 30 or 40% of the gold that comes physically back is typically going via ourselves. And it's amazing how much Krügerrands we are melting in. Yeah, so there's a lot of Krügerrands coming back, but also people buying nice new stuff at present. And the peak of the gold which came back was 2020 after Corona. Because people were buying a lot of gold during Corona times, but then they were seeing, hey, interest rates are rising, and I'd rather sell part of my gold with a gain and then go to my bank and not pay so much interest on my mortgage loan on the house. Yeah.
I just have to say one thing, Marin, sorry. Krügerrands, many of you don't know, but it's like a well-established worldwide famous gold coin, investment gold coin, that it's not made from pure gold. And a couple of years ago, when we tried selling it here in Croatia, nobody wanted it, because everybody wanted like a coin that's made of pure gold. But that's totally wrong. It has 1 ounce of pure gold. Its total weight is more than 1 ounce, but in the end, if you melt it, if you recycle it, you will get 1 ounce of pure gold. And now, after a couple of years, we have made good education of investors, and they're buying Krügerrands because now they know that it doesn't matter that if it's not pure gold, but it has 1 ounce of pure gold. Yes.
And interestingly, on the coin side, is in different countries, different coins are popular always, and Krügerrand is the most popular coin in Germany. People hold.
Sasha, what would be the most popular coin in Croatia at the moment?
Of course, ducats.
Franz Josef.
Yes, Franz Josef ducats. Even in Croatia, we have clients still that are coming to the office. I want a ducat Krügerrand. It's like, no. Ducat is ducat, Krügerrand is Krügerrand, yeah. But they're still mentioning gold coins as ducats.
Yeah, it's a synonym here. So since this is CROGOLD, it's only fitting to talk about the Croatian gold market a bit. Yannick already mentioned that we have a lot of first-time buyers. So Sasha, what would you say are the expectations of local Croatian investors regarding gold prices? Do they anticipate continued growth, or are they concerned about too high price, maybe expecting a correction? So simply put, are they buying more or selling more at the moment?
So let me just put buyers in 2 sections. One that only want to make money on growth, and the other part is the clients that only want to preserve their wealth. But at this moment we have both. So in periods of high growth, you usually have more buyers that want just to make money on the rise of gold. But now we have both. Nobody is sure what's going to happen in 1 or 2 years. When we talk about if we are buying from clients more or selling to the clients, I would say that we are selling a lot more than we are buying from clients. So everybody expects turbulent times, and everybody wants to put their wealth somewhere safe.
Okay, and you mentioned in your opening remarks that the LBMA experts, some of them are predicting the price of gold to rise to high levels of $7,000 per ounce by 2030. As we know, many factors influence the price of gold, and this question is for all of you. Maybe we can start with you, Sasha. Of those many factors, which one would you select and say it will have the most impact in the next 5 years? Will it be geopolitical conflicts, US interest rate, tariffs, or something else?
I would say de-dollarization. I would say that's the main factor, because the central banks are buying mostly to exchange the dollars that they have on their balance sheet with gold. So that's the main factor that's driving the gold up. That's in my opinion.
Why do you think that happens? Why do you think that de-dollarization is increasingly common in the world today and 10 years ago?
Jörg also mentioned that in his presentation. Nobody knows what new President Trump is going to do, what is his new action. And well, we know that every recession, everything that happens negatively in the US, they are solving by printing new money. So by doing that, they're like making dollar worthless in the end. So everybody wants to like exchange their dollars to something more stable.
I would agree. Yesterday it was called, Trump said it's Liberation Day, and some say, hey, it might also be Recession Day. Yeah, so you don't know where this thing is going to go. I think $7,000 sounds as a really big movement at present, but it's only, I mean, we went from 1,500 to 3,000 in a decade. So I think also it's just a little more than doubling the price now. Yeah, so I think I've never been super bullish on shares, and so even in 2004 I thought like, hey, shares are really expensive, and it went on and it doubled and so on. But I see there's a clear, there's a clear strategy, if you can call it strategy, but there's from the advisors of Donald Trump to weaken the US dollar. And if you weaken the US dollar, gold will stick to its value, and then you could see something like this. But I think it's also a big jump, yeah.
Okay. And Yannick, what about you? What do you think will be the most driving factor of the gold price in the next couple of years?
Yeah, also I would totally agree with Sasha and Jörg, but you don't have to forget interest rates and inflation as a decisive factor in this field, because we have so many uncertainties. We've seen the slide before, and when there's uncertainty, there is inflation, and the interest rate will move. So it's always a good hedge against inflation. We've talked about that several times. So in my opinion, yeah, it's a mix of everything. Yeah. And this makes it so special and so difficult to really see it, because so many effects going on at the same time.
Yeah. And when we talk about interest rates, Jörg, you mentioned that we are now witnessing that the negative correlation between the gold price and interest rates is not there anymore as it used to be. Do you think that's something that will continue or not?
No, I think it's still there, but it just has been overwhelmed by the other factors. And I also think if you believe that Trump is going to solve the Russia-Ukraine conflict, yeah, if you believe that the Middle East will be slowing down, yeah, and also if you believe that VW, Volkswagen, BMW will be building everyone is going to be building their factories in the US, which is a relatively expensive place also to build stuff, then I think there's a potential that also the world is going to calm down, and then obviously we won't see those prices, yeah. But obviously I think this could be a new normal now at present, the current prices.
And one thing we often mentioned is our recessions. They have often led to a surge in gold prices in the past. You're both from Germany, and what is the talk at the moment about the incoming recession in Germany and Europe? Is that something that you are expecting to happen soon, and how will that impact the gold price?
Yeah, it's in the media. You can see it. The car industry is facing recession, so and this is always, yeah, an announcement which is then valid for the whole economy because we are fully dependent on it. And if this industry is going down, we will have not so nice time ahead, probably. We are seeing like the car industry is being diminished by imports from other countries. They have cheaper products. We have a global economy, so and Germany has some problems. That's also why people, investors, use the recession to invest in gold.
I think also, like, I'm not looking too much at the recession talks anymore. It has been out there for 12 months already, or even longer than this. But I think the current talk is about the 500 billion package that we might be investing in the industry and so on. And this is also a way to undergo recessions, yeah, that you just invest and put a lot of in your infrastructure, yeah. So there's a big potential that we don't have a recession in Germany, but with the trade tariffs in the US, the chances might be rising again, yeah.
And Sasha, what about the Croatian clients and investors? Do they believe that the recession is something to worry about here in Croatia as well? Are they aware of the factors at play in Germany and Europe as a whole?
Well, mostly yes, they're aware of it, and yes, as I said, if those clients that just want to preserve wealth, they're not thinking about the recession in Croatia. But those that want to make money on the rapidly rising price of gold, they are expecting a recession for sure, even in Croatia, of course. But Croatia is just going to follow the rest of EU.
Okay. Just wanted to tell you, everyone, that we'll have some time for questions from the audience at the end, so feel free to think of something to ask these experts. Jörg, you've mentioned in your presentation that central banks have been amping up their buying of gold reserves. Do you think perhaps that we'll have some kind of, I mean, gold standard was abandoned 50 years ago, but how come gold is still being used by central banks as a monetary tool?
I think you have to look at why the gold standard has been abandoned. And then it's...
And what do you think that is?
Gold standard is that you have a fixed currency rate. You have a currency, let's call it BRICS, and currency. A BRICS currency that is tied to gold, a fixed exchange rate between gold. And it hasn't worked. They have abandoned it because you could not have an answer on recessions. Because on recessions, you do inflate your currency. And with the gold standard, you cannot, but it's fixed, yeah? So it's a fixed currency. And then I don't think it will come back. Also, when you look at the countries that talk about the gold standard and maybe a currency, it's Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, China. And they all have so different interests, and everyone looks on his own in these days. No one looks as a community or so, but everyone has his own interest and wants to push his own interest. And Trump is pushing his own interest, China is pushing his own interest. So we see kind of a patriotism. And then coming up with a currency that is fixed to gold, I don't think it will come. There will be... And the answer is that also that central banks will be buying gold as an answer, because why have a currency that has a fixed price to gold when you can buy gold yourself and hold it in your vault and you're not dependent on anyone else? So I don't think this will come back now.
Yeah, so you think all this BRICS talk is not going to amount to anything regarding gold?
Yes, I don't think it will resolve to anything.
Okay. Yannick, this next question is for you. We talk a lot about the digitization of money. It's really an unstoppable trend. Some people even call it a war on cash. In such a system, how important is gold as a physical investment asset? Does this characteristic still matter to investors? We know that many people invest in gold by not buying physical products, some buy other types of financial instruments tied to the price of gold. So how important is its physicality?
It's very important, in my opinion. I can also see that feedback from our customers, because it's a tangible asset, you can touch it. And that is the main difference to other sort of investments like a Bitcoin, ETFs, whatsoever, or shares. So people like to touch, people like to see it. Alone the color and the shiny surface is something which is very appealing to the investors. And we also see tendencies that investors go for smaller bars. I will talk about it in my presentation later on. So the 1 gram bar is our best seller currently, because it gives the customer, it gives the investor liquidity. Yeah. Also in bad times, because a 1 kilogram bar is hard to divide. You can sell it, yes, and change it into smaller bars, which also happens currently. Yeah, so I would definitely say that gold as a physical asset is important, even though we are living in a digital world. Everything is on the mobile phone, and you can trade and whatever over your phone. So, but still, gold as a physical asset is very important.
And you think it'll continue to be so in the future?
Definitely yes. I would also agree that the portion of digital assets will also increase, because we have the Gen Z, which are on the one hand first-time buyers of gold, but also they would go into the digital world as they are born in this. So I would also say that both pillars are growing, but gold as an asset is not.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We have family offices also, and they want to hold physical gold. So what they sometimes do is that they don't go in an ETC and have it somewhere in the vault. They say, like, I want to buy the gold with you guys. I want to have it with a logistic company and store it at the logistic company. And if something happens in the world, I want to have it delivered to my home. So this is why also you see some part of this gold for rich family offices also goes sometimes into physical investments, in case nothing else on the system will work anymore. So there's also that fear in the market somewhere.
Yeah, and Yannick mentioned that at his refinery, 1 gram bar is the most popular product. Is that the same thing at Argor Heraeus, or do your buyers prefer larger bars?
I mean, first-time buyers go in slowly, right? But we see all kind of bars at our side. And we also serve central banks and so on, and they look more in the larger parts, so the amount of gold where we saw, like, the volume is obviously driven by the larger volumes, not by the 1 gram bar. Yeah.
Sasha, when we talk about digitization of money, we cannot not talk about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. Bitcoin is often referred to as digital gold. So do you think that Bitcoin can pose a threat to gold as the traditional store of value in the next couple of years?
You said Bitcoin is referred as digital gold. Yeah, but basically it's not gold. In the future, I don't see any threat of cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin, especially to gold, because as everybody here mentioned, gold is physical, and the buyers of gold are different, have a different mindset than the buyers of digital assets, such as Bitcoin. Also, if you see the market capitalization of Bitcoin, it's more than 10 times lower than gold. So if, for example, central banks want to buy and enter cryptocurrencies, they will have a problem because the price should skyrocket. But then in the end, they don't control that asset. They control gold. It's in their vault. This is somewhere else. For example, lots of talks have been made a couple of months ago when Trump said that he's going to have a reserve of cryptocurrency in the U.S. As a country. But that basically is resulted in the drop of price of Bitcoin, because in the end it's only that they're not going to seize Bitcoin of illegal activities, they're not going to buy new Bitcoin. So basically it's nothing. Yeah, so basically in the end I don't think that gold can be put off its throne as a safe haven asset.
Yeah, and when we talk about other investment assets that are, let's say, alternatives to gold, in Croatia, real estate is a big one. So do you experience a higher demand from people selling their real estate assets and buying gold maybe in the last couple of years due to high real estate prices?
I would say in the last year we had a lot of clients that sold their real estate and do not want to invest anymore in real estate. They want to go to gold.
Why?
It's easier, it's more liquid, and I would say that's the main reason. So basically real estate is a really good investment, but you have to work with it. And if you need money, if you want to cash out, it's going to take months for it to happen. With gold, you can sell $500,000 or €1 million worth of gold in just one day. So basically, everybody wants liquidity in these moments. And also, when people are saying that they sold their real estate, they're saying that they cashed out in a good way because it was high price. But now we see that a lot of them do not want to, that were planning to buy real estate, say that the price is too high, so maybe they will buy in a couple of years, and now they're going to gold.
I have both. I have real estate and I have some gold. But the thing is, if I go to my bank and say, hey, I want to have €100,000 because I want to buy me gold, they think I'm crazy. And if I go to my bank and want to get some loan to buy some real estate, it's like, hey, this is a really nice investment. And so I think they coexist, right? I mean, in the end, I wouldn't put all investments in one basket. Just split your investments. And gold is the more liquid stuff. I totally agree. Yeah.
So there's also a bit of stigma in Germany as well about gold still, right? I mean, if the bank teller is telling you that you're crazy if you want to buy it.
No, not crazy in terms, but they don't see it as a security. Okay. Yeah, no, they wouldn't give me a loan on it, right? Because they think, hey, it's an investment like any other investment. If I say to the bank, hey, I want to get €100,000 and buy shares, they would also think that I'm not going to give you the money. And that's the advantage of real estate. You can leverage a bit, right? You can only put 30 or 40% of your money in the real estate, and put the other 70% also with the bank, and then you can buy some real estate. For gold, it doesn't make sense. I mean, if you have money or so, some spare money, buy gold, then it's like a liquid currency. But I wouldn't put a loan on it as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yannick, we talked yesterday a bit about silver and your sales of silver in Germany. And you told me that German investors really like the 1 gram bars of silver. Why is that so?
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Yeah, because we also experience right now a big increase in scrap deliveries of silver. So the price hit it €1,000 per kilogram. So it's quite high. So we get lots of silver, and people also tend to get silver bars in return. And it's the same scenario, the same phenomenon, that people tend to go into smaller bars to have liquidity. When we started to produce the 1 gram silver bar, everybody was laughing at us several years ago. But now we have high demand also for this product, even though it doesn't sound very logical, because 1 gram bar, 1 gram of silver is €1. But it's the same effect as we had with the 1 gram of gold bar. So
do you think that gold is becoming too expensive for certain investors, so they prefer silver because of its lower price?
Yes, that could be a solution. Yeah, because the gold price is pretty high. I would say there's always the right time to buy gold, but also for a smaller size of wallet, the silver is an alternative. And the same happens now for silver, as I said. So people tend to go for a smaller one. Back in the years, the 1 kilogram bar of silver was the top product. But now, as the price is rising, investors tend to look for smaller bars.
Investors also look for the gold-silver ratio, right? And they track this. They always look at, well, how is gold compared to silver? And obviously gold is the better investment because you don't pay VAT on it, and silver is the worst investment. But still, they see that even after the Lehman crisis, when Lehman bankrupt in 2008, I was working at a bank at that time, that we saw that everyone was going into gold. Gold went up to from 1,200 to 2,000. And then investors were looking for alternatives because they said, hey, gold is relatively expensive, let's look in silver now, let's buy silver now. And at that time, some institutional investors, I think hedge funds, also bought some oil because they said, hey, oil is really cheap compared to gold. I'm going to buy oil for the next 3 months and hope that oil is going to increase. So they look into physical investments, and gold-silver ratio is going down again a little bit because silver prices have gone up. And I think both we see in our refineries a lot of silver coming back as well. So our refineries are full of silver, but we prioritize the gold because gold is more expensive and more expensive to hold. So sometimes I see my guys and they're like, I have too much silver here, and they stumble about the silver at present, but we are keeping on. Yeah?
And I just want to say one thing, that buyers of smaller bars tend to buy them for the retirement, so as a retirement plan. So smaller bar, the better. So we are selling a lot of 1 gram bars to the people that do not want to sell it until they're in retirement, and then they're going to like have
pension fund.
Pension fund with the gold. You don't buy for retirement 100 gram gold bar or a kilo bar. Okay, there are people that do that, but they prefer smaller bars.
And what about silver in Croatia? Do you experience higher demand for silver due to the rising gold prices in the last year or so, or not?
Oh, in recent months, yes. But yes, as Jörg mentioned, the silver to gold ratio, everybody expects that the silver is going to skyrocket. Even the VAT in Croatia, it's 25%, so it's a lot compared to other countries. They don't care about it because they expect that the silver is going to cover this loss in the VAT and make them a huge profit. And also, we are selling a lot of silver to the companies. So they can deduct the VAT and then in the end, couple of years in the future, sell that silver and they do not lose the VAT.
And we have to talk a bit more about the tariffs and what happened yesterday. I know we've already mentioned them, but Jörg, how do you think in the long run, even if this American administration changes, can the geopolitical divergence between the US and Europe impact the gold market, the physical gold market? Will we see more gold going to the east, to China, to India, or will it not have that big of an impact?
You mean the physical gold, where it's going to be? Okay, China and India are buying a lot at present. Also, the central banks are buying a lot, and they are soaking up. I didn't have this chart, but I have a chart that also the jewelry in China and India is very strong, right? So you give jewelry at the wedding, yeah, because this is your retirement in the end. So it's a totally different culture where they use gold from, and they have. They have a different mindset than us because they already take it as a retirement. Now the tension, I think gold will stay everywhere. I mean, I think you mentioned, Sasha, that they will do an audit on Fort Knox, how much gold reserves are going to be there. So we'll see at how much gold reserves are actually be there because they haven't done an audit in the last 60 years. There's the central bank in London. And there was a big push because of the higher interest rate, because also the tariffs, gold interest rates went high, and everyone made money. Hedge funds and institutional investor banks made money if they were bringing their physical gold to the US in the last 3 months. Yeah, so big turbulence. And then from the central bank also, there's 10 people running around in the central bank and looking at where's the physical gold that we once stored 30 years ago or so. Yeah. It's right next to a tube station in London, and they also have to pay attention that they store the gold the right way because the floor is not thick enough and then it maybe breaks through. So I think physical gold is a big topic at present. Also Germany getting back their physical gold, that makes logistic companies happy. We also saw a tremendous input from banks from the large bars basically, which you have at the exchange, that we were melting down these bars and bringing this to the US because of high interest rates and because they made some money to bring it into the US. So we are providing that liquidity to the market, I think, as a refinery, and we are between supply and demand. But is there going to be physical movements? I think also Russian central bank has. They don't say how much they have, but I think they have a lot of gold in their vaults. Yeah.
Okay. I would like to refer to the audience now. If anyone has any questions they would like to ask our experts here. Okay, I'll bring you the microphone.
Dobar dan. Mene bi zanimalo koje su vaše analitičke projekcije vezano za onaj dijagram koji se koristi unatrag 30 godina za uspon zlata, kad pogledamo onaj skok zlata sa 1200 do $2000 i nakon toga žestoke korekcije u odnosu u postotku cirka 40%, a sad sam rekao što puta da bi nakon novog vrhunca opet moglo doći do tako neke žestoke korekcije.
Okay, so Mr. asked, as there were significant corrections in the price of gold after 2011, I believe, of 40%, do you believe that it's possible that something like that happens in the future as well?
Can I first start? Možda na hrvatskom da bude lakše. Da, bila je dosta velika korekcija 2011. ali imali smo snažan boom dionica i svakako ljudi su prelazili i prodavali svoje zlato da bi ušli u nešto što se očekuje da će rasti puno više i to se zaista i dogodilo. Jer smo imali jedan od najvećih rasta dionica u povijesti od 2011. godine pa skoro do sada. Da li se to može desiti sada? Da, ali ja mislim da još uvijek nismo završili sa tim nekim rastom cijene zlata. Jer ono što je najvažnija razlika između 2011. i sada nije bilo ovakvih geopolitičke situacije u svijetu i ovakvih ekonomskih pokazatelja koji govori da tek trebamo ući u recesiju, a ne da onda smo izlazili iz recesije. Tako da ja mislim da je u budućnosti to moguće da se desi, ali ne tako skoro. Jer samo, što vi mislite, da li će situacija u svijetu biti bolja sljedećih 2 godine ili lošija?
Ne, pa ne stvarečko pitanje. Da, mislim da će biti lošija, ali vezano za dolarizaciju i vašu projekciju da će biti cijena unica od 7, pa nek kažu $40,000. Šta to znači? Ako je model najmimo CROGOLD u kojem su jednom vrhli cijena zlata, u drugom je cijena eura, u trećem je cijena dolara, i svi su zavisni od toga. I ako cijena zlata bude bilo bolje na ulici od $70,000, što će konačno stvoriti stvarno vrijednost zlata i gotovo euro? Plus, najava od Europske unije da će u jednom mjestu se pojaviti i digitalni euro. To će još do...
Ali to samo opet daje dobru stvar, znači da bi cijena zlata mogla i dalje rasti. Zato što ako se kontrolira u potpunosti ono što se troši, i ako vi sa digitalnim eurom, znači vlade će točno znati u svaku lipu gdje ste šta potrošili, koliko ste novca dobili i zaradili, ljudi će htjeti svoju imovinu spremiti negdje gdje ih države neće moći kontrolirati. Tako da je to zapravo još i dobra stvar. Isto tako, znači, vidimo taj war on cash, znači rat na gotovinu. Ima neka direktiva u EU da 2028. godine trebamo smanjiti na minimum cash. Znači, i to ono što naši klijenti govore, to ih baš i potiče da kupuju i dalje zlato.
Super, slažem se, zlato je odlično, ali ako će uz digitalni euro, to će biti kontrola nad prirodnim vlasništvom.
Tako je.
I onda ćemo morati prodati zlato da bi imali šta trošiti na ovaj kupovati.
Ili kupovati zlato.
I onda smo mislili da će nakon.
Da.
I think we also had another question from the...
Yeah, if I could add to your conversation, I would say that it's about the purchasing power. It's not the amount of dollars or euros. It's about how much a gram of gold can buy stuff. So sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's less. Just don't forget 1941 to 1945. I have a different question. there was no audit of the Russian reserves of gold, and we know they have mines. Is there any expectation of how much gold could be added to the market after the Russian-Ukraine conflict is finished?
There's always questions whether central banks could be selling again gold, right? And I've made some reasons why I don't think they will sell the gold, but obviously if all the central banks will be putting their gold onto the market, or also Russia central banks, they have a big power to decrease the price. But they also wouldn't like to do this because it decreases their own value, right? If they put a lot of gold. So if they need money, maybe they will do some selling or so, but we've seen a broad buying of gold, and we also saw that this typically lasts for decades. Yeah, so it could come in the future that gold is again being sold. Think about if there's no gold mining activities anymore in 20 years, maybe central banks will jump in and will try to suit the supply of the demand of gold. Yeah. But I don't see this next year or in the coming years. Also, when our traders talk to their counterparties at the banks or so, I think we will continue to see the buying. Also because they have had a good investment. Yeah. So if you are sitting at the central bank or in Russia or China and you've bought some gold in the last couple of years, you've made some money and you are proud of it. And if you now buy gold and it decreases a little bit, the risk that you get blamed at is not that high anymore because the overall gold portfolio is a good investment, right? So I think just from a mentally point of view, they will be continue to buy. But obviously, if central banks or the US or China or Russia will be flowing their gold onto the market, it will decrease prices, yeah, for sure.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for taking my question. Actually, I would like to follow up on the role central banks have currently in the world. So if you look around, we have a lot of geopolitical conflicts, especially with Ukraine and Europe, and the weaponization of the SWIFT payment system. Actually, if we talk to central banks, they tend and lean to change the system going forward, and we are talking about central bank digital currencies. If this happens, if and when, where do you see gold in this scenario? And especially then, if we move to a cashless society. Thank you.
Yeah, I can. Yes, digital currencies is a topic, but I think it will coexist. Especially when digital currencies come and you will have less cash, people want still, that's what I mentioned with the family office, they still want to hold something they have in their hands. And think about it also if you can also buy some jewelry in gold, yeah? You can make jewelry out of it, yeah? You can pass it on. So I think it will coexist, and it doesn't say that the one is going to go up and the other one is going to go down. Also with the cryptocurrencies, I mean, gold has been there for 5,000 years, yeah? And crypto has been there for 10, 15 years. So I think there will be a lot of experiences as well with digital currencies, and also there might be some control of it because it's all computerized as well. Also the SWIFT currencies is computerized, yeah? So there could be, let's say there's a cyber attack. Actually, yesterday one customer of ours was having a cyber attack, nothing worked anymore, right? We as a Helios company, we look at hey, what is going to happen if our SAP system doesn't work anymore, yeah? So we have counter strategies against it. And that's with the digital currencies as well. It's also, we haven't had that much experience at who is having control on it. Maybe it's going to be Musk who has the satellites or so has control on it. I don't know, right? But I think it'll coexist, but there's room for digital currencies, obviously, yeah? I think I was paying I was giving my EC card for a payment, and then I was being laughed at in various countries because everyone holds in his iPhone, right? And our Generation Z is triggered to not pay in in currencies anymore. They want to pay with their iPhone, yeah, or with their chip, which they have under their hand or so, yeah. Which this might all be coming up, but I think it will coexist, and there will be some demand and tendency also is like, hey, I want to have something physical. Yeah.
I have to mention that a lot of people, especially in Croatia, hold cash. They don't trust banks. And instead of holding cash, they will not have any other option than to buy diamonds or maybe gold. I think gold is the better choice. So basically, it's just going to like be good for gold, the central bank digital currencies, because in the end, it's not going to be cash that they're holding under their mattress, but gold.
And because of diamonds, right? I mean, for diamonds, they can lose their value. Yeah? Gold cannot be destroyed. Diamonds you can destroy. And now you can also diamonds, there's the lab-grown diamonds, right? So I wouldn't invest my money too much in real diamonds. Yeah? I think I would rather invest in gold because this has these values which I was showing which crypto and gold have in common. Yeah?
I think we can squeeze in one more question.
Dobar dan, da li je istina da Njemačka uvodi ustav da će fizički novac morati ostati, a ne samo digitalno, da će biti opcija jedno i drugo? Da li imate informaciju?
So Mr. asked if it's true that Germany is putting into its constitution that physical money has to remain as well as an alternative to the digital money. Is that something that...
Oh, I don't know how the government is going to... I mean, obviously there's always things that, hey, we want to reduce cash. But I think the German altogether are very pro on gold itself, yeah? And also this is why Germany has the second largest holdings of central banks in gold. They have 4,000 tons of gold, and it comes right after the US. US has 8,000 tons. So I think the German government will not do anything which is not good for them itself, yeah?
Okay, I think our time is up, so I would like to thank the... One more question. Do we have the time? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Pa nije bilo ilegalno, nego je bilo neisplativo. Zato što ste imali i PDV na zlato i porez na luksuz. Tako da zapravo kupnja investicijskog zlata nije bila isplativa. Da li će se to desiti? Svašta se može desiti, ali vjerojatnost je iznimno mala.
Okay, thank you very much for the participation in this discussion. I believe it's been very productive and interesting, and I think we have a presentation by Yannick now. Thank you.